Hey guys. Well, I had some interesting comments after looking at my find under the pub the other day. As the internet's already decided to go slow on me. No, it's playing now. So there it is. And quite a few people had a little look-see. Mr. Madaza said there was a hatch outside. My daughter agreed there's a hatch on the outside. People can't find anything about Mr. Crook. Boris had a look round at street names, old street names. But Miss Havisham, Lemon Drops, looked at newspaper articles online. Nothing on the oven builder, not a reference to the street name. Think it predates 1800s. And the walls do look like street walls, I agree. Omnipresent mentions about the Chelsea in Massachusetts. No Saalfeld Street. It's definitely Saalfeld Street. And we get to Miss Havisham, and she comes up with some amazing information here, man. Andy Hill couldn't find anything. Right. She's got an interesting comment here. I'll come back to that one. Alright. Saalfeld. Right, we'll do this one first. The $sign is a Wicca symbol meaning scourge, which is a whip used for punishment. Read the oven. It is a parish oven where people could bring their food to cook, as poor folk did not have an oven in their homes. The building itself looks like a former chapel. Yep, right on all accounts there, I'd say. I'll show you what I found from what she's told me here. And here she says, further to my previous comments, Saalfeld is a town in North Germany, capital of the Saalfeld Rudolstadt district of Thuringia, best known internationally as the ancestral seat of the Saxe, Coburg and Gotha branch of the Saxon House of Wettin, which was renamed the House of Windsor during their British reign in 1917. Hence, the street was named Anglicised Saalfeld Street. Of course, it would have to be number 36, 3 sixes, 666. Missed that! This is hugely esoteric, this thing. So, and another really interesting comment that she put up here. Let's find it. I think it was under Andy's. What was it? Miss Havisham. Yep. The Bakehouse. Andy mentions... Right. Ajax. G is the letter 7. Crook. Yeah. Plus we have the Templar cross, so it could be a sign for those in the know. Masonic crook plus the cross. Oven builder bit could mean something else, particularly if you can't find records. It could be a false front, a coded sign. Plus it wasn't very high up from what could have been street level. Yeah. And Miss Havisham says, I'm thinking crook and flail as in Egyptian pharaoh's regalia. It also ties in with the dollar symbol meaning scourge, aka whip for punishment, aka flail. So I think you are correct with the name G. Crook. It is a fake name. So why are they putting a fake name on this strange oveny thing under the street with an address that no longer exists? With German origins. Right, let's have a look at some of the things that she said. Right, so the Wiccan symbol. I had a look, and here it is. Yeah? There it is. Pentacle magical inscriptions. Tells you here. The S and the dollar symbol at the bottom represents the kiss and the scourge, or the dichotomy of mercy and severity that exist in us all. So it's telling you the meanings of the other ones. The circle, crowned with a half circle, is a horned god. The back-to-back crescents represent the moon goddess. I'll leave the links to all these. So yeah, well done, Miss Havisham. Well done, Miss Havisham. The scourge. So, scourge. The meaning of the word scourge. A scourge is a whip or a lash. Scourge is a noun as well, I think. Can also mean to scourge, I think. The word is most commonly considered to be derived from Old French, to whip. And a scourge typically consists of several thongs fastened to a handle. The scourge, or flail, and the crook. Wow, this is strange, isn't it? Are the two symbols of power and domination depicted in the hands of Osiris in Egyptian monuments. The shape of the flail or scourge is unchanged throughout history. Scourging was adopted as a sanction of monks. This is Wicca, of course. So, in Wicca, the scourge is described as one of the tools used in Wicca, primarily in the Gardnerian tradition. Now, the Gardnerian tradition is a new type of German paganism, which started up in the last 100 years or so. For New Forest Coven, I really must have a look at this as well, because I've been down to the New Forest. But obviously the Gardnerian Wicca comes from earlier Wicca. In Gardnerian Wicca, the two principal deities are the horned god and the mother goddess. See if there's anything else about the scourge here. In Gardnerian Wicca, magical action. It's non-dogmatic. Anyway, this I might actually look at this separately. The New Forest Coven, because I've always had a fascination for it. And we were in the New Forest last year, and I bought a book from one of the witchy shops there. Yeah. So yeah, the Gardnerian tradition. Let's have a look what else. Scourge. And flail. Hopefully we'll get the Egyptian stuff up. There you go. Yeah. Crook and scourge. G. Letter 7. Okay, so we'll have a look at Saalfeld. So Saalfeld is a town in Germany, capital of the Saalfeld-Rudolstadt district of Thuringia. The ancestral seat of the Saxe-Coburg-Gotha branch of the Saxon House of Wettin, which was renamed the House of Windsor. So it's a historic town. I don't know if they've got anything picture-wise here worth looking at. Looks lovely. After several too much coffee. After several blazes in the early 16th century, Saalfeld was rebuilt in a lavish Renaissance style. And there's a bit here about how everybody got married to everybody else and became our king, our queen, all that sort of thing. So they all started to pile over here sort of around this time. So Saalfeld, Saalfeld is an anglicised version of Saalfeld. So a Germanic population. Here's a crook history. I could get absolutely nothing from this, and as it seems to have been a false name anyway, we won't bother with that. Looked at that. Scourge, a pagan witch. Oh God, you can buy one. Scourge is widely used as a symbol of authority within ritual magic, involving spirits and other entities. We beat them out. So, we've got a little bit further. G. Crook, oven builder, 36, 3 6s, Saalfeld Street, Chelsea. So, number 7, the letter G. Crook is a flail. This $sign is also Scourge for a scourge, which is a flail. Saalfeld Street, anglicised German name. 36, 3 6s, and some strange oveny thing. Oh yeah, hang on. I found this as well. The Victorian Bakehouse, useful means of disposing of bodies. Now, the Victorian Bakehouse, before I look at this, I'll look at the other one. Miss Havisham says that this building that I was looking in looks like a chapel. It may well have been a chapel. I mean, they just don't tell us what these places were, do they? I mean, the history of that pub I went in that my daughter works in just goes back as far as the Victorian, what I call the Victorian Restoration. That's my name for it. It's where they just did up places that were already here and said that they'd built them. I mean, they did build, of course, but not as much as they said they did. So communal fired masonry ovens, baking houses. So, as Miss Havisham points out, people didn't have ovens in their own homes, so they'd take their bread, they make their bread, their buns and their bread and their cakes, and they take them to the local bakehouse. Rural bakehouses, French name for Bernard. And there's a picture here of, looks like a bit like our oven. Where is it gone? I think it's in that other one. Yeah. This one. See? With the little thing over the top. There. So at least 2 murders in the 1890s that were perceived as particularly abhorrent because they shoved them in the oven. The first murder was a German immigrant baker named Johann Schneider. For reasons never given, he also went by the unlikely pseudonyms of Richard Montague and Richard Mandecow, as well as the simple anglicised John Snyder. So, yeah. He came from Hesse. So, yeah, the bakehouse itself consisted of a long baker's oven and 2 troughs. Right, so he killed somebody, yeah. If you're into old Victorian murders. Schneider topped somebody and shoved them in the oven. Or 2 people. So yeah, that's a similar sort of oven. Right, okay. Here we go. Back to this. Now, this this looks out of time to me. This feels like it's out of time. It's not Victorian. I don't think it's Victorian. It predates Victorian times, I think. Even though there's not really supposed to be anything in Chelsea at this time or anything anywhere else. It reminds me of this. Harry Potter and magic and the Elizabethans and the magical times that were there then before the Catholic Church and Protestantism and everything took over and magic went underground. Literally. Finding a bit of underground magic. Thanks for watching, guys. I really want to keep going with this. I'm going to do a little bit more sort of like research on this property what they have up there is pretty scratchy, and it's sort of like mostly contemporary history about how the pub came to be and how the brewery in there started. And that's another thing, this wall that is here on here, I'd like to get to know exactly what's behind it, because this corridor that my daughter's walking me up here now in this bit that comes out at the toilets at the end, this wall here, I don't know what's behind it, because when we come out into the toilet area here, there's the stairs going up here, and there does seem to be a door there giving access underneath. So that is my next mission, to see if I can get in here and see what's under these stairs and if there's more to that plaque. Anyway, thanks for watching. Just a quick catch up. I didn't want to leave it too long because this is fascinating. I'm just really, really pleased I found this. It's just feels like it's something that shouldn't be there. Cheers, guys.